Hello there! In this video we'll take a look at my personal top 8 builds made for varying playstyles, beginners and veterans alike. Feel free to put some of your ideas in the comments below, maybe we'll get a part 2 with community submitted builds. Remember to like and subscribe, and there's also memberships now, and YouTube tells me people are more likely to join if I tell them about those in the videos. I'll put more info in the description. Let's get right into it. So, let's start with a cozy farming build for all of the cozy players out there. In the character creation menu, scroll down to the rancher profession. It'll give you animal care for better yields from animals, which includes milk and eggs. We'll take a lot of negative traits that affect combat. We're going cozy, so that's not really a hindrance. Out of shape, fear of blood, reluctant fighter, short of breath, cowardly and clumsy. All of those are not a problem if you don't fight. Out of shape lowers your overall fitness by 2, but rancher gives you +1, so you end up with 4, which should easily be enough. Short of breath only affects combat and running, and you won't have to do much of either. The standard 5 negative traits that go into every build possible are thin skin, prone to illness, slow healer, weak stomach and conspicuous. We'll also take slow reader because you can speed up time in this game, and short-sighted because you are unlikely to lose your glasses if you won't be fighting a lot. If you want to play multiplayer, you might want to get rid of slow reader and replace some positive traits, which will be strong for more carry capacity, which is very useful when building and carrying logs and planks, handy, hiker and former scout for easy starting levels and most of the important skills for role gameplay, blacksmith knowledge so you can make your own tools later on, and speed demon, wakeful and cut size for utility. Dexterous and fast learner are 2 positive traits that are in my opinion a must take for every playthrough, with dexterous doubling your inventory transfer time and fast learner increasing XP gain by 30%. Those 2 are basically unmatched and at fairly low cost of 8 points, definitely affordable for basically every build. Keep in mind that for all of those builds moving forward, we will be taking thin-skinned, prone to illness, slow healer, weak stomach, conspicuous, slow reader, dexterous and fast learner. I'll refer to the negatives as the standard 6 negatives. I'm just putting that out there to avoid confusion. Next, for a change, we'll take a look at one of the easiest combat occupations in the game, though it's definitely not the type of combat you expect. You want to take the burglar occupation here. The reason why is because we are going for Vehicular Manslaughter. Usually it's not the best idea to use your car to clear out hordes because you want to avoid damaging the vehicle, but with the burglar having hot wiring from the very start, you actually don't care much, as you'll have way too many cars available to you everywhere, assuming you're playing Apocalypse, not Extinction, obviously. This whole build is made to be as beginner friendly as possible, hence strong and athletic, which you can replace with survival or utility perks if you want. Fast learner and dexterous, speed demon to make the vehicle a viable killing weapon, and hiker, because without some sort of a survival trait, you won't have a long-term food source easily available. With hiker giving you +1 foraging and +1 trapping, you have that covered. As for the negatives, you take the standard 6, and the next 4 are cowardly, reluctant fighter, short of breath and fear of blood, which cover most of the cost for athletic and strong. Reluctant fighter and fear of blood are 3 points in this case, as you'll be doing most of the killing with your car, meaning you don't really care for weapon skill XP or getting stressed from blood. Short of breath only affects running and melee stamina, which is fine, and cowardly makes you prone to panic, but that doesn't matter. Again, you won't be engaging in melee or gunplay much. If you want to have a proper combat build though, then this is the perfect build for you. A powerful melee looting build with construction worker as the base. The whole point here isn't exactly looting capacity per se, taking strong and organized would be way too expensive at 14 points. Instead we take the killing approach. You demonetize every zombie in the area and then you just walk in with the duffel bags and take everything that isn't nailed to the ground. This is the simplest fighting build in the game. Standard 6 negatives and high thirst or some other 2 points negative trait, and for the positives you want athletic for +4 fitness and stamina efficiency, gymnast for +1 nimble, and then fast learner and dexterous. Construction worker as an occupation provides you with maintenance, short blunt and long blunt levels, meaning you already have a plethora of melee bonuses even without traits. Now, there is another version of this I prepared for Extinction enjoyers. It's arguably one of the best options. It's optimized for melee and early game, which is the hardest part of playing Extinction. The occupation we're taking is Firefighter, as it is basically the best Extinction occupation, most notably giving you +1 strength, putting you above average, +1 running for easier escapes from sprinters, and +1 axe for an early bonus to melee damage. Every trait here, except for Brawler, is basically meta for this sort of playstyle, though you could move some traits around if you wanted to. Other than the standard negatives, you want High Thirst and Claustrophobic. The latter one only affects indoors, which is fine, as most combat happens outdoors anyway. For positives, take Dexterous and Fast Learner, Gymnast and Athletic for combat, and Brawler for another +1 axe and +1 long blunt. That way you start with 2 levels in axe and a huge 5.3 times bonus to leveling it. With Fast Learner, that then jumps to approximately 7 times compared to normal. As you can imagine, that's pretty good. Maybe you're more interested in playing long term for a couple of in-game months though, in which case here's a great late game build. You want to take Blacksmith, which is basically the most endgame occupation in the game. That way you'll be able to easily make your own tools and weapons later on. As for the traits, late game oriented builds have way different priorities than fast combat focused ones. Thus, in addition to the standard 6 negatives, you'll take Cowardly, Claustrophobic, Out of Shape and Weak. The reason for this is that exercising is a viable long-term option of leveling up fitness and strength, so you can basically get a lot of free trait points by lowering those with negative traits, and panic-related traits are going to lose their bad effect over time, as your panic will drop to 0 in just a few seconds after eliminating its source, meaning it will basically disappear as a problem. You'll also have access to beta blockers for gun gameplay. Note that we haven't taken any traits that permanently nerf our food, water or sleeping situation. They would get annoying very quickly and you cannot get rid of them in any way. Well, I guess you can get high efficiency food, water bottles and coffee, but that's still a hassle. For positives, we take Dexterous and Fast Learner, and then we take a bunch of 1-level traits: Former Scout, Gymnast and Target Shooter. We also want Cat's Eyes, Wakeful and Inventive for utility, and Vehicle Knowledge for repairing cars later on. The end result is a good all-around build which gets better over time, while not being too weak early game. If you plan on playing the same save for more than a year though, you might want to swap Weak and Out of Shape for Puny and Unfit and get even more positives. Hey, remember that Firefighter Extinction build? Well, what about something less cliché and a bit more interesting? I present to you the Burger Flipper Combat build. It's more stealth-oriented and has a unique short blade focus. In Apocalypse, short blade is basically useless as its main strength is insta-killing, which you can easily do at max level axe or long blunt. However, on Extinction, with zombies having way more average health, the insta-kills suddenly become way more valuable. If you watched my occupations tier list for Extinction, you know what I'm talking about. So for this build, we'll take the standard 6 negatives and Claustrophobic, and for positives we get Dexterous and Fast Learner, Gymnast and Graceful for stealth and nimble, and Stout and Fit for better strength and fitness. Burger Flipper comes with +1 in short blade maintenance. It has an incredibly low cost, so this is actually fairly customizable if you want to change some traits. All of the previous builds had one thing in common. They didn't really focus much on firearms. This is obviously a bit disappointing. Thus, I present to you a common suggested police officer build. It is incredibly optimized and specialized for one thing and one thing only: shooting zombies with guns. You start with level 6 in aiming, meaning panic doesn't even affect your shooting skills, and everything in the build is helping you with gunplay, getting guns, carrying guns, etc. Except for inventive, I guess. I threw that one in because it's useful. For the negatives, you want to take the standard 6, as well as Cowardly and Claustrophobic, as they don't affect your gunplay. You also want Fear of Blood and Short of Breath, both having basically no effect as you'll keep your distance and avoid melee. For that same reason, we take out of shape for 6 more points. For positives, we can take a lot. The staple of the build is the target shooter plus hunter combo for +2 aiming, and the rest is stout and organized for more carry capacity for ammo. Speed Demon and Inventive for utility, Dexterous and Fast Learner, where the former actually buffs gunplay a bit, Gymnast for nimble, and Light Eater because, frankly, I ran out of traits to put in at 2 points cost. At least it means you'll have to take less breaks from killing to get lunch. Alright, last but not least, the most efficient zombie killing build in the game, and also the most picante one on the list. The chef's signature dish, you could say. The all-rounder engineer. It's an incredibly trait-intense build. The standard 6 negative traits are accompanied by fear of blood, disorganized, reluctant fighter, short of breath, claustrophobic, smoker, and cowardly. Yes, that is a lot. For the positives, we take Speed Demon, Dexterous, Inventive, Cat's Eyes, Vehicle Knowledge, Gymnast, Hiker, Fast Learner, Former Scout, Handy, and Hunter. The result is a slightly terrifying mad scientist with bonuses to almost every skill in the game. The build's main weakness is that it's really bad at melee combat and it's prone to panic. Fortunately, it doesn't even matter. Engineer can make pipe bombs which can easily kill all the zombies. By all, I mean all. You can clear your town with just a few of those. Notably though, you also get some interesting bonuses. First of all, Engineer starts with +1 in electrical, and with Vehicle Knowledge you can start hot wiring very early on. You also know how to operate generators. If you feel like the build is too bad at traditional combat, you can remove Reluctant Fighter, Handy and Inventive, and put in Target Shooter, which will result in 2 starting levels in aiming and 7 times bonus to leveling it, counting Fast Learner. So, here you go. That's my special build. That's it for the list, but it's not all done yet. There is tens, if not hundreds, of interesting builds out there. Go ahead and put your favorite build in the comments. I promise I'll make a part 2 with those. Potentially even more, depending on how many submissions there will be. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Have a great day.